Good morning, everyone. Well, I guess it's early morning / late night here on the East Coast. So today we're going to be finishing up, well, pretty close to finishing up the Bloodbraid, playing through the various Bloodbraid Elf decks that have popped up. This is one that people have expressed an interest in, both in terms of whenever we were talking about what brews they wanted to see. So this is a kind of a tap out Jace the Mind Sculptor Bloodbraid Elf deck. Often when you're playing Bloodbraid Elf, you're not able to play counter spells in the main. This deck has a few situational counters on the board. The 100% efficient list is running Noble Hierarch. The reason we're not, quite frankly, is budget reasons. But also, to a certain extent, it does enable your third color of red, although there's not a ton of red in the deck. When you're borrowing from mana traders, the Jace decks have gotten obscenely expensive to the point where to borrow the entire Jace deck, you need to have basically the Legacy package, and at this point in time, we're not playing Legacy yet, so I'm not upping the fee by $40. But beyond that, I was able to make a few substitutions. Noble Hierarchs, we have Birds of Paradise. The only thing we're missing is the Exalted Trigger, which obviously can be relevant, and sometimes having a blocker in the air can be nice. We also shaved one Blood Moon for a second Pyroclasm, also a budgetary thing. But I also think having a second Pyroclasm in certain matchups can be fairly relevant, because between the Pyroclasms, the Statcasters, and the Engineered Explosives, I think there's a lot of good outs. Beyond that, you got your Serum Visions, Ancestral Visions to get your carded selection, card advantage, Bolts and Roasts as your removal in the main deck, Scavenging Ooze, Tarmogoyf as your 2-drops. Vendilion Click is a little bit of additional disruption against combo, Tireless Trackers, Jace, and Bloodbraid Elf as your card advantage, Kitchen Finks for a little bit of life gain, and I still can't figure for the life of me why these swords are in the deck. But most of the decks that keep going 5-0 with this style of list keep playing swords, so I guess it's a good hit off Bloodbraid Elf. Has some utility, although Kolaghan's Command is still a beating with this card. Your sideboard, you've got a lot of options. Got some situational counter spells, Ceremonious Rejection for the colorless decks, Affinity, E-Tron, regular Tron. Dispel, kind of protect your combo, decent against some combo decks. It's alright against Storm, it's okay against Ad Nauseam, and it's decent against other control decks when you're trying to protect your threats from 1-for-1 removal a little bit. Ancient Grudge, here for Affinity, E-Tron, also good against Lantern, if anybody's still playing that besides Canister. Blood Moon's a little bit risky. We are running a 3-color deck. Obviously, if we know we have it in our deck, we can play around it a little bit. We have 2 islands and a forest to go get with our various fetch lands. I'm not sure that's quite enough to be playing Blood Moons. That's another part of the reason why I don't mind going down to 2. But you can randomly cheese people out, like, Jund and stuff, if they're not fetching around this. Is it Statcaster for decks with a lot of 1 toughness creatures? Things again like Lingering Souls can give this deck fits. Decks like Affinity, you can catch some humans sometimes. So there's a lot of different utility for this Is it Statcaster. Grafdigger's Cage, pretty decent considering we're not running Snapcaster Mage in this build. It's a graveyard hate card that doesn't affect our Tarmogoyfs and Scavenging Oozes. And then Engineered Explosives. The one thing about Temur that makes Temur significantly weaker than Jund and Grixis, those style of decks, is Temur's removal is situationally abysmal. Bolts and Roasts, there's a lot of cards these don't cover. You can get the Delve threats, but you can't get Death Shadow. Some Tarmogoyfs grow out of range. So there's a lot of cards that, like Fatal Push, and those answer much more efficiently, and red honestly just needs better answers. Even all the way back to when Gerard Favignano played this Temur Moon list, he was running 3 Engineered Explosives in the main. Another thing is it's not a good hit off Bloodbraid Elf, so that is something to consider when bringing it in. So I'm not sure if we're supposed to remove Bloodbraid in some matchups, like when we're bringing situational counter spells and such, but that's kind of a tension you gotta watch when you're building the deck with Bloodbraid Elf. So, That being said, we're going to jump into a league. So, nice casual Friday night, Saturday morning. Our last league was Bloodbraid Elves, which was a very interesting roller coaster ride. Ended up going 3-2, losing to Tron, 2 Tron variants. So, I don't know if that's usual for elves or not. Oh well. So, that was a fast queue. Nice thing about Modern lately is the queues have been pretty quick, so. Alright, guess I'd like to play first. Alright, so we get to go Ancestral on 1, and then start digging for stuff, so I think this is a hand we're interested in keeping. I mean, obviously we're lacking the real early interaction, so, and we don't have an accelerator, but we do have kind of our card advantage engines. So if this is a fair matchup, we might have a fairly decent chance. Ooh, Affinity. This could be a little rough. Alright, so I'm going to be glad for... So how do I want to fetch here? Fetching basic island Serum Visions here. I mean, obviously these Bloodbraid Elves will be okay, but I don't know if we have enough removal in game 1 for Affinity. So... Am I getting basic forest or basic island here? Probably basic island. Maybe we can cast Jace eventually if we draw it. Serum Visions. Maybe I should have, just played Botanical Sanctum and played Serum Visions with this in case we draw Bolt. But other than Bolt, I can't think of any like particular card we would draw here. Yeah, I think we're interested in both those cards. But obviously we're not going to draw either one of them right now. Like, Bolt insulates us a little bit, and Roast we can fetch it away if there's not anything like we pressingly have to get. Cranial Plaguing's annoying. Doop-a-doo. The only question remains is, are we going to have enough time? Yeah. See what they do here. I'm not sure that I'm going to want to fetch Shock. Maybe I should just play the Mountain. I think we're going to end up fetching that, got a lot of lands, which is... Sure. How big is this Ornithopter here? Ornithopter's a 4/2? What kind of hand did they keep? Guess I may as well get, Yes. Go ahead and bolt your stupid Ornithopter. Did fetch away Roast, but Roast is not a card we really wanted to hit here anyway, so... They could be thinking we have counterspells, and that's what they're trying to play around, but honestly, we don't have counterspells in our deck, so... And if we can somehow get Game 1, I think Game 2 and Game 3 get a lot better for us. So... Was not expecting much in the way of Affinity. Just supposed to fetch... Fetch Forest here, see what we can hit. Trigger. Always yield. I mean, it's not the best card in the world, but it's something. Bottom 2 lands here. Guess I'm thankful I'm not casting Ancestral and getting all those lands. So what does Sword do? Turn up to 1 target creature and gain 3 life. Alright. Seems reasonable. Is their hand just honestly that bad? Yeah, looks like their hand's honestly that bad. I mean, that said, we can still easily lose to the random beats here, as lousy as our hand is removal-wise. Jace, Tarmogoose. So there's a good chance here, if I don't play Sword, Equip, and Smash, that we're just dead. But even to Gal Blast, we could easily be dead anyway. So I guess I'm just going to play Sword and connect and hope that's good enough. Another problem we're going to have is we only have 1 more fetchable basic, and that's an island, and I really don't want to shock myself. It's a good chance I'm just dead here, right? Let's see. Okay, 7. So if they have Gal Blast, I'm just dead. Am I dead? Looks like the answer is yes. Alright, so pre-board configuration's pretty weak to that. I don't think Jaces are really where we want to be. Let's see. Definitely want the engineered explosives. Definitely want the pyroclasms. Definitely want Staticaster. Definitely want these ancient grudges. The question is do we want to risk ceremonious rejection? These rejections are very, very suspect in this list with Bloodbird Elf. I don't want to cut Bloodbird Elf. Swords are fine, they're a little slow. Ancestrals are fine, they're a little slow. Like, a lot of these cards are fine, but they're just... I don't know. Let's take a look at the curve here. Might be, like, get the swords out of here. Get cut like an Ancestral Visions. And... are the roasts a little too inefficient? We want to keep as much removal in as possible, but is it possible roast is just too inefficient and not hit enough of their guys? I'm going to go ahead and board out the roast for now. Bring in a lot of other removal, so... Alright, Ancestral Visions. Alright, so... certainly a keep. The question is... what am I fetching for? Or am I just playing Island, or... Alright, so... Opponent kept a really weird, like, non-payoff hand other than that cranial plating, but it did reward them. I think we're just going to lead on Sanctum here. I want to leave the option to fetch a basic with F4 with Wooded Foothills in case they, like, decide they want to Blood Moon us or something. Okay, Vault Scourge, sure. Another slow start from our Affinity opponent, which probably means they have some type of either Etch Champion, Blood Moon, some type of sideboard card that's pretty impactful. So, Jace is no longer in deck. I don't need double blue. I need to grab a red source. But I also want a forest. So, I guess Stomping Ground's a choice. Don't really like shocking ourselves here, but play out our small Tarmogoofy. Next turn we'll go Sanctum into Finks. See if they like Gal Blast our... No, Gal Blast wouldn't kill that right now. Ravager? Sure. Pyroclasm's not a bad draw. So, am I playing around anything here? This Ravager can become a 2/2. They can't activate their dudes right now. Tarmogoyf becomes a 2/3 on resolution. Yeah, I think we'll just Pyroclasm here. And even if we lose our Tarmogoyf, I'm fine with this exchange. Tarmogoyf goes up to a 4/5. Sorry, sometimes the Tarmogoyf rules get a little goofy, so. Another Ravager? Yeah. Looks like they're playing against the heavy removal plan. I just skipped my main phase for no reason at all. Play out the Sanctum. Play out the Sphinx. That way they don't need to know about my Bloodbraid Elf next turn. Alright, they've got a Signal Pest. So we'll get Ancestral Visions off suspend here. Like to draw something like an Ancient Grudge, or maybe we'll... Alright, Bolt. So I'm gonna Serum Visions, hoping I can set up Bloodbraid Elf here. Is it Statcaster? So top. Go ahead and grab that bolt on the top of our deck. Target your Ravager. And that's game. Alright. That game went a lot smoother. So am I supposed to bring in Ceremonious Rejections on the draw as a faster piece of interaction? Blood Moon, Ancestral. Still don't think we want to change anything. Maybe we're supposed to cut like a tireless tracker or something, but we still need ways to close out the game. There's a decent chance they have like something like a relic or something in their deck, so. Well, this hand's one major flaw is the lack of red mana. I think we keep and just hope this engineered explosives can get us somewhere. Alright, so play out breeding pool, pass. Hopefully whatever their payoff is, it's not too serious. Sure, Overseer's kind of alright. Hopefully we draw a red source here. Alright, Serum Visions. Gotta bomb both of these. We need red mana, something fierce. 1, 2. We may end up dying just due to the lack of red mana, honestly. And if we get hit by like cranial plating or something this turn. Yeah, Ravager. Alright, red mana, please. Alright, I guess I should have been more specific. Is there any reason to play out something this turn? Guess we play out this engineered explosives on 2. It's kind of alright they know about it, I guess. Seriously? Wow. Okay. Opponent brought in Spell Piercing Goddess. So we need to hit like Ancient Grudge or something along those lines. This Pyroclasm is no longer useful. Was not particularly expecting. Okay. So go to 8. I don't think we have an out here. And we'll play Bloodbraid Elf, see what we hit. Red, that. Trigger. Alright, Ancient Grudge is something. But is it enough here? Probably not. Question is, what am I supposed to take out? It's either the Ravager or the Overseer. Guess it should have been Overseer. We're dead on board either way, though. So we don't have any mana to cast anything. Yep. I'm just gonna put it on the Scourge and kill us. getting that engineered explosives countered was really very painful. And we're just dead in the air. So, presuming our opponent's competent enough to attack us there, so. Well, that kind of sucked. I mean, sometimes Affinity just gets you. That was more maybe we shouldn't have kept that opening hand. Having a bunch of 2-drops and no red mana. Maybe it was a little too slow. Like maybe we needed Bolt or Ancient Grudge or something just to interact with them sooner. Especially being on the draw. I don't know, what do you guys think? Is that a little too slow of a hand there against Affinity on the draw? I mean, they had a decently quick start, but it wasn't like one of their truly... No, this is a mulligan. Do I really want to go to 5? Guess we'll keep and try to hit a land on this guy. Yeah. That allows us to play a bird on 1. Alright, so Hallowed Fountain. Unless this is Jeskai, that likely means our bird's gonna live, so fetch gets Stomping Ground, I guess. Since play a birds. Pass. Not that Bolt's a huge priority, but it's fine. Alright, so yeah, this is gonna be a grindy one. Grindian. Play this out. Use the birds to suspend the Ancestral. It's possible I should be trying to land Tarmogoyf here, but I don't know how aggressively I want to be trying to land a Tarmogoofy when there's a decent chance they have Path to Exile in their hand or Supreme Verdict. I don't know how much we want to actually be playing into that. Alright, there's... You really gonna Vendilion click us here? Oh my. Question is, am I just supposed to bolt your face here? Gets a mountain. Our opponent is holding up Bolt mana now. So... Blue. So it appears they are Jeskai. Question is, am I just supposed to use this as a brainstorm, or... do you want to put this on the bottom of their library? Yes. Pass. It appears they do not have Bolt, so the Bolt might have been a bluff. Put Steam Vents in the graveyard. They're really gonna Field of Ruin us? Okay, sure. Let's go grab a... They are very aggressively using their Field of Ruins. Alright, so... I think we brainstorm here. Putting back these two, I guess. We got Raging Ravine. Suspend this Ancestral. Go ahead and play out this Tarmogoofy. This'll okay, that means probably a good chance they have like a path or something. So they're binning a Snapcaster. Wow, really? Okay, sure. So my opponent is trying to Field of Ruinous out of the game, I guess? I don't know. Seems a little far-fetched to me. Alright, so let's go ahead and move to combat first. Attack with Tarmogoofy. Go ahead and brainstorm here. Tarmogoof, Jace, and I'm going to put Jace and birds back. So one of our Ancestrals is coming off next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Guess I'm going to commit another Tarmogoyf to the board right now. Our opponent wants to Verdict, I guess that's fine. I'm not really sure. A Logic Knot in the graveyard. I mean, obviously we're targeting us. You have a counterspell, you have a counterspell here. Snapcaster on what? Logic Knot? Sure, whatever. You have to pay quite a bit to Logic Knot this. Not even sure how much I fight over it, honestly. Alright, so they're Logic Knotting us for 6. Okay, sure. No. Alright, there's the birds we knew we were drawing. Go ahead and bolt your Snapcaster. Let these Tarmogoofies close out the game. Usually just brainstorm with Jace. Putting these two back for now. Still no reason to play anything else out. Superm. Yep, your verdict is Superm. Alright, there's a scavenging ooze that we knew about. Brainstorm here. Alright, put back birds and Botanical Sanctum. Play out this Tireless Tracker, see if you have a counterspell. Hopefully you do not have a counterspell for this. Alright, cool. Electrolyze in response. Okay. Opponent might be close to stabilizing here. I think the one red mana might be hampering them a little bit. You firing up Colonnade here? Wow. Okay, sure. Going after Jace. Sure. Ancestral is coming off. We have a counterspell for this. You do not. Alright, so am I just supposed to resolve? Go ahead and brainstorm here. Put back Sanctum and Birds. Play out this Searing Visions. Bottom this, top that. Play this out. Make you have something here. Bloodbird Elf into Serum Visions. Cast the Serum Visions. Alright, not really interested in Finks. Keep a Tarmogoyf on top. So you have to have like a path or a bolt or something here. Target whatever you wish. Your Snapcaster Mage is dead. Alright, so you're gonna shock yourself down to 3 to cast a bolt. To be fair, I only have one other bolt in my deck, so... Yep. Firing up good old Colonnade here. Opponent's kind of in that awkward spot where... Sure, they get to kill Jace here, or whatever. They're not really representing much here. So... I guess they're representing an Azcanta activation. So I probably just want to run out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just run out Bloodbreed Elf, see what they have. See if we can hit our 4th bolt or something. Birds of Paradise, exactly what I wanted to hit here. You have a Snapcaster. I guess Snapcaster would make sense here. Yep, just Path to Exile. Sure. Fail to find. Play out Tarmogoyf. Hopefully you don't have like Snapcaster Path here. Pass to you. Yeah, Snapcaster Path. Kind of like the worst case scenario here. Alright, sure. Alright, so... how do we want to sequence this? I think we're just gonna pass, hold up Vendilion, click in the final bolts. That way they're required to, if they activate their Escanta, they're just dead. Wow, okay. They don't activate Escanta. Jace the Mind Sculptor, huh? Let them sculpt away. See if this draws out like a cryptic command or something. Target you. What kind of cards you keep in your hand, friend? Path Exile. So 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and bolt you right now. You have to have something very specific on top of your deck to survive, and you do not. Alright. So, we're up against Jeskai. We're probably in the mood for these Blood Moons. Maybe Dispels? Dispels are debatable, because obviously they're a horrible hit off of Bloodbraid Elf. Is there any reason to engineer explosives? I guess it could technically, in some world, catch Escanta. These roasts are kind of garbage. And... is there anything else that is equally horrible? Birds are not great, obviously, in this matchup. They do... it's kind of a grindier matchup, so maybe we just want to bird a couple... yeah, bird. Maybe we just want to bird a couple of the birds out. Yeah. Is Cage a consideration? Because they're a Snapcaster Mage deck. Maybe? Get these other two birds out of our deck. Get these Grafdigger's Cages in. Is that stupid? The only card of our deck that it hits is Sphinx. I think that's fine. Because they showed us, what, at least 3 Snapcaster Mages last game. And we can't get engineered explosives up to 4 to answer something like Jace. So, I think we're just going to roll with what we have. Gotta be mindful of the time. We are behind them on the clock, so... yeah, hand seems fine. It's good. It's not great, but it's fine. Alright, Ancestral Visions on that does tend to mean that we want to shock this in, suspend Ancestral, pass to our opponent. I think we'll likely have more than enough time to finish 2 games, but, you know, we are still behind on time, so... search for Escanta. Was yield. Lightning Bolt, sure, whatever. Suspend Ancestral, pass. Just do whatever we can to save a few seconds here and there. So how's everyone doing tonight? Did you get to play F&M, or need a land, please? Alright, Serum Vision's not the worst. No. Do not want to concede the game. I wanted to undo what was going on. Alright, so... Top. This is going to put us behind a land drop. Actually, basically 2 with Search for His Content in play. Opponent's got all 3 colors. Would be nice to find something like... Alright, I think we're going to pass. Probably click him on end step here. Set up, hopefully trying to hit a... get our Ancestrals to resolve. Two, three, four. Sure. Opponent gets to put their potentially 5th card in the graveyard. Serum Visions. So we gotta be careful what they do with their Serum Visions here. Hopefully it's okay, top. That's kind of miserable. So there's a decent chance this click won't be able to clear the way, but at least it's something. Target you. So there's only a couple counter spells you could have here at this point that we care about. Guess we take Counterflux. Only card that particularly matters out of that hand. Their opponent top another counterspell. They did not. So I think I'm going to start by attacking with Vendilion. See what they do. Gotta play out Tireless Tracker here. Because we know you don't have a counterspell. So... okay, Helix in response. Do I want to shock this? And probably not. Because your hand did have quite a bit of burn to it, so... pass. Search is going to get to flip this turn. We know they have a Jace. They chose not to flip Search. Alright, draw another Ancestral Visions here. See what they have. Maybe another Cryptic Command or something. Wow. Okay. So... huh. The moment this Blood Moon actually hurts us more than our opponent, I think. Takes them off of white spells. Play out that. Guess one of our Serum Visions. Alright, so we got an island. So next turn we can try to land. So I have currently... A lot of cards in hand. Am I just sending a bolt upstairs? 1, 2, 3. 10 cards in hand. I'm just sending a bolt upstairs. Yeah, may as well send a bolt. No. Let's just discard down the hand size. White? White? Okay. I was like... Sure, whatever. Get rid of... Sword. That, and... Guess one of the bolts. Should've just sent the bolt upstairs. Definitely gonna be pressed for time if we don't win. Tarmogoofy, huh? So play out this here. Tireless Tracker. Hopefully they'll counter this. Really, really want you to counter this with like a cryptic command, friend. Yes. Please counter this. Yep. So I guess I'm playing Tarmogoofy here. Nope. So we know they have Jace. We really don't want them landing Jace. But I'm also running out of cards that are impactful enough that they care. So 1, 2... I guess we try for Bloodbraid Elf here. See what we hit. Did I just seriously hit Dispel? Of course I hit Dispel. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you dump board and counter spells into your Bloodbraid Elf deck. Alright, hopefully they don't fetch Island here. Cool. Come on, Cryptic Command this, please. Yes. Yes! Thank you, opponent. Thank you. Thank you for being so cooperative. Merry Christmas. Bottom. Alright, I draw Scavenging Ooze, which is not horrible. Go ahead and Serum Visions here, see if we find something we like. So top. Go ahead and crack a clue, draw my Tarmogoofy, play out my Tarmogoofy, and pass. So now my opponent's operating on... Okay, search for his Kanta, sure. Another Ancestral. This has been a very, very grindy game. Suspend an Ancestral, play out Scavenging Ooze. See what our opponent does here with their Azcanta. To be fair, I think it's really hard to play around Blood Moon from a 3-color deck. Really do. Okay, what did you find here? Okay, yeah, that's fair. Maybe that was a reason not to play. Okay, lose your own, search for Azcanta. I need to find another threat. Cage. Serum Vision's coming off suspend here. It's a reason to hold on to lands, is Tireless Tracker. So Cage. Do we play out Sword here? Yeah, may as well play out Sword, I guess. And pass. Now we're just kind of waiting on drawing threats. Oh, they found their white mana. That's unfortunate. Bloodbird Elf. So, green, that. See what Bloodbird hits here. Scavenging Ooze is not a horrible one. Do this. Alright, opponent scoops it up. Alright, well that was nice to get a win over blue-white control. Alright, we'll be back here in 1 moment. Alright, we're back. So admittedly it's weird, it's really weird playing a blue deck without counterspells. Like, at all. So... how's anyone else's testing with Blood Moon or Jace and Bloodbraid Elf been in the format? Or have they played against a lot of Jace and Bloodbraid Elf decks? Like, freaking, World Championships is what, almost half Jund? We're gonna keep this hand. It's a little awkward with the fetch lands. Gonna be doing ourselves a lot of damage. Alright, so some type of... Did I just fetch basic island here? Definitely need a second blue source. Yeah, I think it's just basic island here. Save myself some damage. Save myself some damage. If my opponent ever lets us, yeah, let's get an island. Certain Visions, Misty and Wooded Foothills. I think I'm gonna bottom both. I'm not really in the market for more lands right now. Opponent didn't fetch. Did they keep on top with their scry? They did. Alright. So I wanted to keep whatever their scry was. Some type of green-black midrange deck. Yep, Tarmogoofy. Let's just go ahead and get their Tarmogoofy off the board. Really don't have too many clean answers to it. Roast is really our only clean answer in the main deck. And we don't want them like thought seizing away and then killing our Tarmogoyf. Just certainly a line they could take, especially if they're... Looks like they might be Jund. Yeah, they're Jund. Alright. So, Liliana here. What am I binning? Guess I'm binning birds. So... Liliana going to 4 is obnoxious. We don't have too many ways to deal with that here. So I guess I run out Ooze. Plan on eating something out of their graveyard when they go to kill it. Like, we really need, like, Bloodbraid into Ancestral or something along those lines to... let's see. May as well eat their Tarmagoof, because they can... Yeah, they're just going to Kolaghan's Command it back now. That's cute. Yep, get back Tarmagoof. I think we're just guarding Breeding Pool here. Good sequencing by our opponent. Got lucky to draw a Bolt there. Very, very lucky. Yes. Alright, well, let's see. Probably have an answer to Tarmogoyf. Now you have your own Tarmagoof. Yep, there's Tarmagoof. And you don't have an answer immediately, so I think I'm going to go ahead and attack. If they want to trade off like Bolt or something for this Goyf, I think I'm fine on a one-for-one trade basis. No blocks. Well, that kind of sucks. So what are the odds they have something like another Kolaghan's Command? They do. Play out the sword and pass. Yep. Cool. Nope. Bloodbraid Elf. Okay. See what you hit off of it. Another Tarmogoofy. Sure. Wowzers. Just gonna attack with Bloodbraid Elf here. Alright, sure. Puts us to 9. Huh. So if I were to equip and swing, that would put them to 3. They could conceivably die to bolts. I don't know that we have any great... Because if they activate Raging Ravine here, we're pretty well... dead. This is tough. Guess we equip with sword. Force them to block. Because if they don't block here, they're just dead to bolt. Now you have to have removal spell for birds, plus be able to activate your tar pit to kill us. Guess another Bloodbraid Elf might do it. Not really too much we can play around here. So, if we just had some way to get 1 point of toughness off this stupid Tarmogoyf. Alright, you got a bull here. Obviously, I'm blocking Tarmogoofy if you attack. Block. Put us to 6. I mean, we're dead to 2 bolts. There's not much I can do with that. Alright. Scavenging ooze. Well, we can't Bloodbraid Elf here. Okay, so flash and click. So if they attack with everything, we're dead here. Inquisition of Kozilek. Can respond, so we have to Vendilion click ourselves. Guess I'm targeting myself here. Giving us an extra draw it. Alright, I mean, that's something, sort of. Inquisition misses, so if we hit a land, it could be alright. Wow, really? So... Alright, so... I don't think you're surviving this, friend. I mean... Okay, so click here. How many creatures are in the graveyard? 1, 2, 3... So I think I go... what? Click on Goyf, Goyf on Skooz. Take 3. Don't think you're going to be able to eat enough to kill Goyf here. And if we hit another land, we'll probably be alright. Yep, get to eat a creature, get to eat another creature. Your Skooz dies. Zero Visions is not really what I wanted to see here. Alright, bolts. Just bolt save us here. Scavenging Ooze to the bottom. I don't think we're going to win this game. It's possible I should have bottomed that bolt. Firing up Raging Ravine. Yep. Yep, we're just dead. We don't have enough answers to what to have going on over there. Right, so what are we interested in this game? Fortunately, we don't have a lot in our sideboard for this matchup. Engineered Explosives is fine. Maybe the Blood Moons, get them a little bit. Swords probably come out because of K Command, which they're going to leave in regardless. And then... Cage, no. Rejection, Stagcaster. I mean, the swords are fine, but they have so many answers to them. Is that something we really want to be leaving in? Probably not. And cut a couple of these birds. Engineered. I really think our best advantage in this matchup is things like Ancestral Visions and such. The fact that we had to fight through all that stuff. And once again, whenever, you know, I talked about this deck in the Bloodbraid Elf decks breakdown on YouTube, and even when we started streaming this earlier, this deck's biggest weakness is its removal package. The red removal is just so awful against things like Tarmogoyf and Big Oozes and Death Shadows and those particular type things. Like you saw there, we had Roast, but couldn't kill Tarmogoyf. It's like, okay. I mean, like, bolts are fine. I mean, you get to kill Confidant, you get to kill an early Scavenging Ooze. You know, it lets you target things like Liliana and Jace. Not saying they're not relevant, I'm just saying they're not the best removal package in the available in Modern right now. Noble Hierarch would have been better than Birds, probably, in that particular case. Obviously, we're running Birds because of the budgetary stuff, but... Ancestral 1-1 and a couple of Tarmogoyfs. I don't know what else I would want. I mean, I guess I'd want removal and Blood Moon, but in our opening hand they're just gonna get Thoughtseize and Inquisitioned away anyway, so probably take Serum Visions here, leave us with a couple of doofuses. Oh, taking one of our Tarmogoyfs. Okay. Tireless Tracker puts us in a bit of a weird spot, huh? So... not in a huge hurry to run out into... don't want the mountain. Am I interested in this bolt? Probably. Mainly because I want a quick answer to Liliana more than anything. Yeah, losing our Tireless Tracker here kind of sucks. Take our Tarmogoyf. Interesting. They have another discard spell? Sure. Jun doing Jun things. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why Jun is such an obnoxious deck. Good old Bobby. Good old Bobbert Confidant. So I bottomed one land with this Ancestral Visions. Question remains is, do I want to fetch to thin before Ancestral comes off? Probably not. Let's run this land out there. I know we have trackers in our deck, but I also want to be able to deploy as many spells as possible, because there's a very good chance this is Liliana coming down here. Nope, just a Tarmogoyf. Alright. We're going to go ahead and... yeah, okay, there's already sorceries in the graveyard. So if we draw a roast, it's not the end of the world. What's up, Carinto? I guess we could Jace unsummon. Is that worth doing? Or am I just Jace brainstorming? Gotta fetch here. May as well grab a forest. Guess it's just Jace unsummon. I mean, they could have Dreadbore here. Otherwise, this Jace is just dying, so leave up the chance to have bolts. Our hand is pretty freaking weak right now, so we really need this Jace to live. Could have Maelstrom Pulse. They could have okay, Tarmogoyf. Go a second Tarmogoyf. Alright, scavengers that we can just kill. So am I supposed to... I think we're just gonna wait to untap here. Guess we're brainstorming with Jace. Alright, kinda hard to complain about that one. Get these breeding stuff into our deck. Engineered explosives for 2. Pop it immediately. Don't want you eating stuff out of the graveyard. So, at least we got back into this game. Was definitely a good find off of Jace. Okay. Choke is kind of cute here. So I guess I'm getting wooded foot or stomping ground. All right. Why did our opponent show us choke? I don't. Why would you play choke and then concede? I don't understand the point. It's not like I have anything additionally to bring in against choke that I wouldn't already have in my deck against Jund anyway. But at least I understand the purpose of the fast lands and the man lands now. Does help you play around choke a little bit. There's a card I need to be mindful of, but there's only so much I can do. Hand's fine, but it's probably going to get torn apart by discard again. So, probably losing Ancestral here, I'm guessing. Doop-a-doop. Because Ancestral was the card that basically won us last game. I mean, Jace got us there, but Ancestral kind of... Yeah, sure. 10,000 discard spells makes Jund an interesting deck. Alright. Do you have a... I was gonna say, do you have a third additional removal spell you'd like to play here? So, Engineered Explosives is a little bit awkward because we don't know if we want to kill like a Liliana here. They could have Kolaghan's Command in their hand. So, they're fetching Swamp. Robert Confidento. Sure. It's like, don't they know I have Bolt and Roast here? Yep, Liliana. Plus Liliana. Get rid of Tentacle Sanctum here. Hopefully we'll hit, like, I was gonna say, love to hit Bloodbraid Elf here, but green, blue, yep, undo. So if they have Kolaghan's Command here, we're going to get blown out, but there's not much I can do about that. Or I suppose they could have another Liliana. Pass. Hopefully you're not tapping mana for Kolaghan's Command here. Alright, so they're not activating it, and they're not... What the heck is your hand then, friend? If you had Kolaghan's Command there, I think you would just run it out, wouldn't you? This looks like a Bloodbraid Elf to me. They're fetching all basics. Alright, there's a Tarmogoofy. I think I'm just taking the hit here. Alright, so I'm losing one of my roasts here. I get rid of a Liliana, which means their Tarmogoofy's a little bit difficult to kill. Especially with no... Tarmogoyf's a 6/7. Alright, so we have our own Tarmogoyf, and I just mistapped horribly. So let's grab this. Go ahead and roast your stupid. Alright, so hopefully they don't have an answer to this Tarmogoyf, but that might be living a pipe dream here. It's going. How are you? Huh. I'm wondering if our opponents... Alright, so they're attacking. Just taking it because we can actually crack back for more. Get another Tarmogoof. Oh, Bloodbraid Elf. Why don't you play that? Sure. Land is not really what we wanted here, but at the same time, I'm just going to play it out. Opponent chose not to cast Maelstrom Pulse. Does that mean they have a bolt or something here? Yeah, but I'm also at the point now where I'm kind of priced into blocking, so I mean, like, I could theoretically chump block here, but if he has the bolt, I can't. It could be Kulagun's command too, and there's not really... I guess for this turn I can chump block Goyf, kill Bloodbraid. I'll lose my Goyf for another turn, but I don't even know what I'm drawing to here. Like maybe Jace bounce. Okay, you have another Tarmogoof. Jace. What does Jace even do here? Am I using Jace as an unsummon here? Am I using Jace as a brainstorm? Guess we use Jace as an unsummon. See if they have that bolt. Yeah, I'm guessing the way they're playing, yeah, 4-mana unsummon. But, gotta do what you gotta do. See where this Tarmogoofy goes. Alright, Tarmogoyf is going after us. We're priced into blocking here. Yep, there's the bolt we thought they had. I don't know how we're getting out of this one, frankly. Especially with another Tarmogoof. I guess if we find our second engineered explosives, that'd be good. Beyond that, I don't know what we could find. Could Serum Visions try to dig for it, then Jace Brainstorm gives us the most looks? I think that's the play. Serum Visions. Alright, bottom these two. Now, Brainstorm looking for it. So, put back Jace and Blood Moon. Play out our own Tarmogoyf. Play out the Raging Ravine. This might leave us alive for a turn, only if they don't have a removal spell or another hasty guy. Guess Bolt, Kolagon's Command both kill us here. And don't slow roll if we're dead. Scavenging Ooze. Alright. Alright, there's a Blood Moon. Which doesn't really do much in this situation. So we know we have a Vendilion Click on top. So I still think we're digging into the same card. Put back Jace and Raging Ravine, because we know we won't cascade into those. Guess Bloodbraid Elf, spin the wheel. Ah! Oh. Oh. Yeah. Smart ass. Yes, you're right, Kalir. You... I definitely did find the engineered explosives. Alright, well, we've lost to Jund and Affinity so far. We beat Blue-White. But most of these matchups have been pretty close. Yeah, this hand's a keep. Lack of blue mana is really the only, like, true issue here. Not lack of blue. Lack of red mana is the only real issue with this hand so far. Let's play out Sanctum, Serum Visions. Ancestral and Bird of Paradise. I think I'm interested in both of those cards. It's possible I should be bottoming aggressively looking for blue mana, but I'm probably interested in Birds of Paradise and Ancestral Visions both. So I'd like to thank everyone for hanging out this morning. I don't normally stream at this time of night anymore, but I used to stream a lot in the 2, 3, 4 a.m. thing, but work schedules have changed, so alas, this is the first time I've gotten to do this in a while, so thanks for hanging out. Why do I keep tapping the wrong mana for the wrong things? Birds of Paradise, go. Oh, huh. Fishy, fishy. Fishy, fishy. This is a slow start for fish. So... It's possible I should be interested in shocking in this Stomping Ground to want to hold up Bolt, but they're unlikely to play anything out here that I want to Bolt this turn anyway. I mean, yeah, I guess they play out Reedree, so we can't, like, double Bolt, but Ancestral will come off in 2 turns. Excuse me. We found the EE, it was just a little late. So EE will also be pretty fantastic in this matchup. I think this is a matchup where most of our removal will line up pretty decently. Another Birds of Paradise. Just what I wanted, right? Play out this Tireless Tracker. Play out this Stomping Ground. Untapped. Go ahead and swing with Tracker, see if they offer the trade with Reedree. They probably won't. It's probably just going to have to Bolt the Reedree here. Play Bolt. Play around. This is another case where having Noble Hierarch would have been nice. So the reason I bolted first was in case Vile on 1 they could play Curse Catcher out. Minor things, but, you know, we're pretty far ahead here, so there's no reason to really... Alright, Silvergill revealing Lord of Atlantis, sure, whatever. There's Lord of Atlantis. Need some more removal spells. Got Ancestral coming off in a turn. Alright, that Bolt makes this turn pretty easy. I guess our opponent could have Harbinger of the Tides here. Be the most annoying card they could have. It's gonna crack one of these clues, see if that incentivizes them to play something like a Harbinger. Alright, Kitchen Finks is not a bad one. So I'm going to Bolt the Lord of Atlantis here first. Once again, sequencing. Play out this Kitchen Finks. Gain some life. What's this, Harbinger after all this? Yep, another Silvergill, sure. Pass to our opponent. I think outside of Master of Waves, this game's pretty well over. Master of Waves could be pretty obnoxious here. Kira could be annoying. Feels, of course, it has to be Master of Waves, doesn't it? Oh boy. Two, three, 4, 5. Opponent gets an obnoxious amount of elementals here. Does our opponent want to trade their Reedrees for our stuff? Not really. Alright, so note to self, Master of Waves is an obnoxious card for our deck. Bloodbraid Elf, huh? Not sure what we can even hit here, honestly. not interested in that. What did we build? A couple lands. I think we'll leave another Bloodbraid Elf on top. Play that out. So yeah, Bloodbraid Elf just gets blanked by their idiots too easily. I guess I'll attack with like one tracker here, because they can just tap down most of our blockers with like multiple things here. A couple elementals in front of this. This is another one of those weird things where the red removal doesn't line up right. Not sure what our opponent's considering here. Making sure we're not disconnected. Wow, they decide. Alright, so let this happen. Guess it's possible we're dead on the backswing, so they have another Master of Waves here. We're in severe trouble. I think the one Master of Waves is more than enough to have put us in some trouble. I guess the one card we could be digging towards is Jace. Bounce would be pretty decent on this board. But now that they have Harbinger, it's obnoxious. Harbinger is definitely obnoxious here. Alright, so sure, last card, Master of Waves? Are you bouncing? Sure. Wow. Alrighty then. So, tap for red mana. Oh, it's gonna have a Master of Waves here. A boatload of idiots. Draw the Bloodbraid Elf we know about. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is lethal. Block there, and die. Alright, well, this has been a clinic in how obnoxious this meta can be sometimes. Probably get the Pyroclasms in, Staticaster's fine. Doesn't answer Master Waves directly, but it does answer the tokens. Click is a little... I mean, in some regards it's fine. It's just like Jace out, because Jace doesn't seem very good. And then... cut like 1 birds on the draw. And get these engineered explosives in. Cut another birds and a Sword of Light and Shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting Merfolked. Something's a little fishy in here. So, thanks everyone for hanging out this evening. My name is Dusk, or Dusksplitter here on MTGO. We have a YouTube page with a lot of standard and modern content. Been focusing a lot on the Bloodbraid Elf and Jace decks since the unbannings, not unlike most channels, I'm sure. We're going to be switching to some standard content here. What does this hand do? Tarmogoyf, Scavenging Ooze, Bolt. I think we go ahead and keep this hand. Lead on Raging Ravine. And get Scavenging Ooze or Tarmogoyf out next turn. Okay, of course we've got the Ether Vial. So... guess I'm fetching Steam Vents here? Yeah, I have 2 red sources and can't get Spreading Seized off of it. Alright, need to get my green mana here. Obviously we want to get some pressure, start getting... It's kind of awkward because the engineered explosives good number against Merfolk is 2. And most of our threats are 2s. So... Yep, Silvergill revealing Silvergill. Alright, so... this... attack with the Tarmogoyf. No blocks from our opponent, unsurprisingly. Play out this card. Hold up Bolt. Alright. This Reedry. No, Silvergill revealing Master. So they could have Spell Pierce here. Oh, just another Ether Vial. Okay, sure. Question is, am I supposed to bolt one of these idiots? Probably. Grow my Tarmagoof. Not killing a Lord, but I'm going to be Bloodbraiding the next couple turns. Serum Visions is not a horrible card. I think I'm just going to get an island here, save myself a little bit of life. Play the Sweet Art Bloodbraid Elf first. I'm going to say, is it Staticaster? Yeah, I was going to say, friend, you might want to play your Lord here. So they revealed Master of the Pearl Trident and then showed us... Very, very interesting. I'm just swinging with these two. I'm tempted to offer the Scavenging Ooze trade, but sure. Staticaster's fine, but the window of it being great isn't very good right now. I know they have a Lord in their hand. Okay, why would you... Alright. Guess because you want to take your Vial up to 3 for potential Readery and stuff. Alright. Opponent's got a spell. Tidebinder Mage. Which one are you going after here? Tarmagoose, or are you going after Staticaster? Alright, so you're going after Tarmagoose. Oh, you have Island Walk, right. Just the fact that we have islands in our deck is also coming back to bite us in this matchup. Well, hopefully we hit a good one here. Would have liked that Ancestral Visions to have stayed on top of my deck. Oh well. And Tireless Tracker's fine, it's not great. Go ahead and swing in with Bloodbraid Elf here. You have Dismember? Wow. Shoot your Tidebinder Mage in response. So if you want to trade, you gotta actually trade here. Am I just dead on board? Probably. 4, 6, 10. Yeah, we're just dead on board. Yeah, we get it, opponent. We get it. Yeah. Cool. Alright, one more match here with Temur Moon. So, thoughts on the deck so far. obviously, I don't know. The swords have felt awkward. I don't know what else they could possibly be. The red removal's just not good in a lot of these matchups. I mean, the Jund matchup was close, but like both aggro decks have been able to like kind of get around our removal, get around our guys. Both Affinity and Merfolk. Merfolk obviously has Island Walk, gives us fits. Yeah, that awkward tension with the spells and Bloodbraid Elf and Jace. Jace honestly hasn't been all that. I think there's been 1 or 2 games where he's been pretty good for us. Like, this feels like a deck you need to get ahead and stay ahead, or resolve Ancestral Visions and such to really catch back up. It's not a deck that on its own stands toe-to-toe with something like Jund without those cards. Like Jund, Jund can just 1-for-1 stuff into the ground and then use Confidant and such to card advantage itself back up. Liliana is usually pretty good in a lot of those spots. Like, I know the Merfolk matchup was close for Jund before Bloodbraid Elf, so I'm not sure how it lines up now. I don't know. Just feels like this deck is trying to do a lot of the same things Jund's doing, just not really benefiting Bloodbraid Elf as much. Like, you don't have as much, like, removal to hit off Bloodbraid Elf. Like, you don't have Abrupt Cage, you don't have stuff along those lines. But we'll be playing one more match tonight. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We're going to call it quits after this match, but I mean, we've already been streaming for a couple hours. We're only 4 matches in. This deck is very grindy, so. So, hands a keep. We probably fetch, what, Breeding Pool, play birds. Okay, opponent's going to 5. Put a card on bottom. Not sure what that means, but, get a Breeding Pool here. Play a bird. Next turn we theoretically get to go Bird and Serum Visions. Oh, Tron. Yay. Relic is, I don't know how we beat Tron other than... Alright, so we need 1, 2... Need a land next turn. Do I want to play Serum Visions? So... 1, 2, 3, 4... I think I'm going to top both of those. I obviously want the land for Tireless Tracker. Yeah, sure, whatever. You're making my Tarmogoyf bad, that's about it right now. Alright, sure. So you're activating Relic even though you're playing on Cracking Relic, sure. Opponent concedes. Alright, sure, whatever. Blood Moons. Ceremonious Rejections. I guess to be fair, okay. So our opponent showed us Tron Land Relic. So it's possible that they are Eldrazi Tron, and that's the only thing I can think of like information you're trying to save, is like that you're Eldrazi Tron, and like anything else you show us just like I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of that our opponent's scooping that quickly. Either they were just had no hope of coming back, or... Because, I mean, we were several turns away from killing them. So if they were, like, regular Tron, they could easily claw back in... It's normal Tron? Okay, I'll take your word for it. I mean, I'm just saying there's the possibility that they could have been Eldrazi Tron the way how quickly they scooped. Because regular Tron, I think, would have had a few more draw steps, like Ugin and such, to get back into the game. But, alright. Doesn't really matter. It's not changing how we sideboard too terribly much. I think I want to cut, like, a couple of Ancestrals on the draw. And... Like, Finks isn't great against either deck, but it's still a beater. Yeah, no. I understand they both have it. I'm just saying, I'm thinking if our opponent was on regular Tron, they might have been more inclined to stay in the game. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't change hugely how much we're going to board. Probably just going to shave a couple of Ancestrals, because Ancestral's nice, but if it's regular Tron, we need to be aggro, and we don't necessarily have time to be... Does this hand do enough? Probably not. I think we can afford to go to 6 here. This hand's just too slow. This hand, on the other hand, I think I'm going to go ahead and top an Ancient Grudge. Alright, turn 1 Expedition Map, sure. So... Wooded Foothills... Fetch... Well, he did mulligan to 5, so... He or she. The thing is, like... Both Tron and Eldrazi Tron would mulligan to 5 quite readily. So, you know. No, you were correct. They are regular Tron. So, alright, Ancient Stirrings, Power Plant. So I get to fetch Island here. Maybe. There are some really clanky hands with, so... I could just Blood Moon here, but I think I want to get... See, there's a couple different things I can do. I can Blood Moon here, I can Ancient Grudge, suspend Ancestral Visions, or I can Tarmogoyf, suspend Ancestral Visions. I think I'm going to go ahead and Tarmogoyf, suspend Ancestral Visions, because I need to get my clock down. And blowing up the map, what is somewhat relevant, they're not going to have Tron next turn, so I think I'm just going to go ahead, play out Tarmogoyf, suspend Ancestral. Yeah, pressure is definitely the key here. Like, if they're just gonna fumble around and okay, Worm Coil. So they will have Tron next turn, which means I have to Blood Moon this turn. And this will allow us to get an island too. Question is, do I want to get an island? Or do I just want a red source? They could have Nature's Claim here, so that is something to consider. But would they have brought it in against a 3-color deck with the mana base we showed them game 1? In the end, I don't think it matters. Go ahead and get in with Tarmogoyf. Do they have Dismember here? And is there any way we could play around it? Probably not. Like, if they have Dismember here, we're in a lot of trouble if they have Dismember. Because then we'll have no other pressure. And we have no way to get Tarmogoyf up to... Okay, no, you're just getting the last Tron piece. Alright. Yep, Urza's mine. Yeah, no, the plan is definitely Blood Mooning this turn. I'm just trying to play through all the permutations while they were figuring out what they were doing. The way they were thinking, I'm like, okay, do you have Dismember here? Is that what you were holding up? We're definitely going to fetch a land out of our deck. He didn't. He already had Chromatic Sphere in the graveyard, so it didn't give us any damage. Let's just grab Stomping Ground here. Not holding anything up, so I'm not going to shock it in. But I did want to get it out of my deck before. Yeah, he or she did not give us any free damage. O-Stone? Thought not. Walking Ballista. Okay. Walking Ballista is kind of cute here. How far is Ancestral from coming off? Alright, keeps us from playing Jace. Jace was like the one card that I think I just want to use Roast here, right? Like hold up. No, actually I wanted to play Ancient Grudge, because that would put another card type in the graveyard. Yep, Jace was like the one card that kind of... Another Walking Ballista. Alright, that's obnoxious. Another one land off of Worm Coil. Expedition map. Yeah, sure, whatever. Alright, so... Need to grudge this to get it out of the way. Guess we're hoping to draw our other basic islands so we could use Jace to bounce. Let's use this to kill that. So we're taking 2 to the face here. I don't know how we're beating Worm Coil Engine. I'm not going to flash back on this. I'm grudging it because I have Ancestral Visions coming off, so there's a good chance I find a bolt or something. Or finding our other island. So... Question is, what is their 7 mana plays? I know I needed the flashback for Worm. It's good, but their 7 mana plays are soon to be unlocked, so it's like use this, kill your Worm, get your dudes. Flashback on the Death Toucher here. Why did I just flashback on the Lifelinker? I guess in the end it doesn't really matter here because I'm not attacking with Goyf to any meaningful thing this turn. Sure. So you'll now have your 7th land. Sanctum is obnoxious. Alright, so... have to use Grudge to kill this last idiots. Opponent's on a 2-turn clock, but they've likely got Karn or something here. So, maybe they'll be nice and take us off of Blood Moon here. Oh, jeez, seriously? Okay. Serum Visions, see what we can find. I think I'm inclined to keep Bloodbraid Elf here. Play out Scavenging Ooze. And if you've got Ugin, we're losing anyway, so I'm not even going to try to play around it. Yep, here comes Eugene. Alright. So our opponent didn't attempt to take Blood Moon off the board. Interesting. Birds of Paradise. Yeah, not really what we're looking for here. Go ahead and hit Ugin. Yeah, an opponent, unfortunately, had like the one... Yep, and we're dead. Tron doing Tron things. Always a pleasure. Alright, so do we change sideboarding at all being on the play? Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, do I have anything that's better than Moon? Like... the swords are both kind of mopey. Cage doesn't do anything. Explosives doesn't do anything. Ancestral, like maybe I could board in one Ancestral, cut a Moon. Maybe just cut... I mean, we'll leave one Blood Moon in. But that was just an example of Bob on the play. Bird of Paradise. Sand's fine, I guess. I mean, we don't have any great cards in the matchup, so it's like, what are we mulliganing to? Yep, star, sure. Hey, we got a Jace. Tarma Goofy, go. Turn 3 Tron, game over. GG. Go ahead and bolt our opponents. Play out another Tarmogoyf. And hope they don't have a payoff? Yeah, you got a Worm Coil engine, don't you? Looks like Worm Coil. Okay, just Walking Ballista. Jace is fine in this spot, like if they have like Worm Coil engine or something. Do I expose myself to... Okay. So Ugin and O-Stone beat us. Do I try to play around them, or do I just, like, jam Tarmogoyf and... I think I'm just jamming Goyf. That way, like, a Thrag Tusk or something doesn't save them. Okay. Wow! I was not expecting... So, okay. I agree with you under normal circumstances we don't want to commit more to the board. Like, O-Stone or Ugin beat us. But in this particular case, like... Dismember or Karn, those cards buy them another turn, and if they find land Ulamog or land Ugin, we're not winning anyway. So I had to commit to the board to kill them next turn through a removal spell or through a Karn. So... And we would have gotten there on Jace, so like Worm Coil engine wasn't going to be enough here. But, I mean, it's small details here, but like I'm losing to O-Stone anyway, if they have O-Stone land. And I'm losing to land Ugin. So I may as well beat the stuff that I can actually beat. I could beat Dismember, I could beat... I guess actually, Dismember wouldn't have saved them there, so maybe that was a bad example. Because they were at 6, so Dismember wouldn't have saved them. But like Karn with just two Tarmogoyfs on board would have saved them for a turn. So maybe it was correct not to commit there, but I wanted to play to beat the cards that I knew they could potentially cast. Like Karn, they could cast Karn there. They could cast O-Stone, but they couldn't crack it unless they had another land. So I wonder if they were digging for another land there. Either a land or an answer to multiple creatures. Not really sure. Alright, so thoughts on the deck. Just before we do the wrap-up, I want to say thanks everyone for hanging out tonight, or this morning, whatever time zone you're in. It's been great chatting with everybody. This will be going up on our YouTube page later. YouTube link is down below the stream here. But thoughts on the deck. these swords are just so weird. Like, there are some matchups where they could be fine, but what matchups are you hoping to, like, gain edges with a sword? Takes you... They're good hit off Bloodbraid, but otherwise you're paying 5 mana for... What you were saying might have been correct, but I could not beat a sweeper anyway, so I had to go for the win. That's all there was to it. And like Jace, land Jace allows us to answer Wormcoil, so I wasn't worried about Wormcoil. So, but as far as this deck, like the swords are a little questionable. The red removal is annoying. Being stuck on bolts and roasts. Obviously, you saw what it gave us problems with Master of Waves. Trying to think what else. Like, not being able to play with counterspells is a little awkward with a Jace deck, but we are playing Bloodblade Elf. I think if you're going in this direction, like, Jace is an awesome card, and there are some situations it gets us out of, but I think you need to replace these swords with something more relevant. I don't know if it's, like, more... I don't know. Like, things like another Tireless Tracker, another Vendilion Click. Like, Vendilion Click seems fine. Even main phase Vendilion Click is, like, it's an evasive threat to get around board stalls. Ancestral Visions, obviously, with Bloodbraid Elf and Jace is pretty decent. Trying to think if there's any other, like, glaring, like, weaknesses. The main thing is just the removal spells are so awful in Temur. Like, I almost wonder if you're playing Temur, if you just want to be more, like, Bounding Crassus Kiki Jiki combo, or something along those lines. Like, I've seen a lot of people play Temur shells, but I haven't seen them do particularly great. I don't know. Like, I saw a friend of mine playing Supreme Will in some of these 3-drop slots. So, like, he could have a counterspell in the deck, but it still did other things. I think that was a cute innovation. I don't know. There's just a couple slots in this deck that just seem off. Like, it seems like you could utilize Snapcaster Mage, but there aren't enough spells to flash back. So, I don't know. Just feels like Temur is trying to do what Jund already does better. Like, you're trying to jam Jace's. There's got to be some shell for Bloodbraid Elf in Temur, but I don't know if this... There are certain matchups this is good, but there are other matchups you're just like, what am I doing? I don't know. Personally, I'm more of a fan of the more aggressive or Ponza-esque Bloodbraid Elf shells, but Jund and this deck are certainly good. It's been putting up results, so... I mean, can't dismiss that. Maybe it's just... Maybe I misplayed some lines there. I don't know. Losing to Affinity in round 1 really freaking sucked. And I think going forward, if we wanted to beat Merfolk, these Pyroclasms maybe have to be Anger of the Gods, because they were able to get their dorks out of 2 damage range. I don't know. A lot of small adjustments can be made with these decks, so a lot of toying to do, a lot of testing to be done still to see what the best shells are for Bloodblade and stuff, other than Jund, obviously. So, I want to say thanks everyone for hanging out. If you liked what you saw, feel free to hit that follow button. If you really like what you saw, feel free to hit that subscribe button if you have a Twitch Prime or want to help support the stream. I'm going to try to be streaming more often than I had been, but with school and work, it is a little rough, but we're going to be streaming some tomorrow, late morning or early afternoon. Told a YouTube viewer of mine I was going to stream his Grixis control list from Standard, but I want to get this Bloodbraid Elf list in tonight. As far as modern decks, I think the only other Bloodbraid Elf deck really to test that we haven't tried on the channel is the Naya Zoo list. We've already played the 5-color Zoo list. It was pretty sweet. Jund obviously is Jund. It's pretty good with Bloodbraid Elf back in the fold. Ponza, I think Ponza's gained the most from Bloodbraid Elf. Beyond that, I mean, the card's obviously shown up a lot. It's pretty insane. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Please feel free to check out our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of stuff going on over there. And hope to see everyone again soon. Good night.